Hey folks, this is Jeff Bradshaw with Festo, and what I'd like to show you today is a VTUG manifold with a special setup. And what's special about it is it's mounted on a T-profile, and what the T-profile does for us is it puts all of the compressed air ports in the bottom, and what this does is it allows us to mount directly to the bottom of an enclosure instead of up inside with tubing running all over the place. And then of course that tubing goes down typically to a bulkhead fitting and out or in. And that adds a lot of cost because you're not only buying all those bulkhead fittings, which could be stainless, but you are poking a hole in the cabinet for every one of these. Instead, you've got one opening in the bottom of the enclosure. You have a stainless steel plate to provide additional corrosion resistance, and you have this gasket seal, which is so good that we took this to UL and were able to maintain the NEMA 4X rating for the enclosure even with this in place. So in other words, nothing is getting past that. What we have here, we have all your working ports, supply port, exhaust port, external pilot air, whatever you need is right here. But in the case of perhaps you have your air preparation unit inside the enclosure and you don't want to provide air here, or for some reason you need to do something different with your exhaust air, you can plug the appropriate ports and then use the ones on either end of the manifold. But you've reduced the clutter of all the tubing inside the enclosure. You still have NEMA 4X, and you've reduced your cost on both the cabinet and fittings. On this particular manifold, I put 4 of our K-valves, which are dual 3-2 valves, so each one of these slices can control 2 single-acting actuators. And then I put 2 5-2 valves. Each one will control a double-acting actuator. And I put 2 blanks because sometimes it's just a good idea to have a couple extra slots there for if you have an expansion, add something. It's always great to have that. What I didn't put on were the 5-3 valves, and we have all the varieties of those, center closed, center pressurized. And so whatever is normal in our VTUG arrangement, you can put on this manifold. For communications, this is the iPort module, and what's really cool about this is you can operate it as is, or you can add a module that goes on top of it that now communicates perfectly with whichever field bus you have. So for instance, if you're running Ethernet IP, we have a module that goes on, the front of it is now Ethernet IP, and you communicate perfectly with that, no problems at all. Another cool feature of this is hot swap. We have, you'll have situations where you may have one valve that needs to be replaced, or you want to make sure that that's the problem, but you don't want to shut down the whole thing. You don't want to shut down everything that this is controlling. So you simply pop this up, and what that does, it slides a spool valve to block off the air to the valve itself. Take out the 2 screws, remove the valve, put a new valve in, put the screws back in, pop this back down, and away you go. So very easy to use, very great design for cabinet enclosures. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me or someone else that you know at Festo, and we'd be more than happy to help you with that. Thank you.